Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Blood Bowl. We're in Season 3 of the Dead Air Invitational. What you're seeing right here is a replay screen because the recording of my first match fucked up. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, for I'm joined by the Ambassador, the Commissioner of the Dead Air Invitational, Mr. Goromoth. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Watched this game last night. It was pretty fun. First game of the entire season. It's not just your first game. It's like this was actually our opening game, so there was a bit of a crowd for it watching in the room below while you guys battled it out. So
yep,
should be interesting to take a look
that's
at.
something we should say. We're trying to back off from a lot of the whole live commentary feed while the players, because it's come across that it's being a bit jarring for those players, especially when people just blurt out what they think they should do, and it's off-putting to those people in the tense situation. So a lot of the games you're going to see now is going to be like live commentary of just the coaches, while the others will generally be in stream chat and just talking shit. But
I think a lot of time there'll be a co-stream as well where it's just the other people's chat.
Yeah, very much probably. I imagine some people would do. But we're here on the team presentations. As you can see, it's Norse and Necros. As Josh has rightly put it out in his pre-match showroom, that it's 2 new teams out of the 3.
Yeah. We have 3 new teams in the league. First match is kicking off with 2 of them. We have the Necromantic, which is the first of 2 regen teams, and we have the Norse, who are widely known as one of the best low TV teams in the game.
Yep. So we're on the setup now, just so Josh can press play.
Yep, I'm good.
The Norse, myself, won the coin flip there, and we chose to receive the ball. And we can see Dan setting up a defensive line right here. One thing to note, that I was a really bad boy, as I mentioned in my live game, and I didn't actually do a lot of preparation. So I forgot that I had a runner, which should use the ball.
He's currently on the line right now.
Yeah. He's on the line somewhere. There he is. So yeah, you'll recognise that throughout most of the first half. So first kickoff goes off, and we both get an extra reroll, which makes a lot of difference in places, because there is 4 rerolls is a lot, and I've got the Apothecary, and Dan has got a Necromancer, as can be seen.
Yep.
And
Necromancers.
Yeah, as Dan rightly pointed out, I get a lot of pals, and as I rightly pointed out in previous seasons, I get a lot of pals, but I don't really get the injury rolls off of it.
It's true. You've got a stun zombie so far. But I guess you kind of messed up a bit there, because the stun on 1 dice in the middle. I guess, did you expect that to be a 2, or did you actually take the 1 on purpose?
No, I messed up on the sides.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have followed up with one of the side ones, really. That was my mistake of my own doing. But because I have a lot of block, I do take a lot of 1 die, because the odds are going to forever be in my favour because of it.
Yeah, it's 50. It's 50. It goes from being a 1 in 3 to a 50-50.
Yeah.
For the 1 day, so it's not as bad. One thing you'll definitely need to keep an eye out for is with the Norse team, you have more frenzy pieces than you've probably ever played with in one team before. You've got or at least right now, you've got the double Ulforner, and you've got at least 1 Berserker.
Yeah.
And I did note in a couple of places in this match, you got a little frenzy trapped.
Yes. One of the one that actually cost me a decent drive on the first half as well, but we'll talk about that as we get to it.
Yeah. But this is the classic. At this point, I just call this strategy the classic Pete patented super cage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no one has. I don't know why Dan wasted a reroll there.
I don't know either, because knocking the lineman over doesn't do anything really.
Yeah.
In that position.
But yep, as we can see there, Dan threw his guys into my block pieces, which was what we expected, really, when it comes down to it. But he gets a lucky regen, so his zombie doesn't lose strength.
Yeah. Would have been a nasty injury. Well, it's a zombie, so it is the fodder unit of the Necro team.
Absolutely. But he did waste that reroll, as I said.
Yeah.
I don't see why he would have done it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. One thing he needs... in future games, I'd say he needs to be careful of is he really shouldn't be putting his werewolves so aggressively deep where they can just be hit, because the werewolves are so key to this team.
Yeah, and they're only 3 strength.
Yeah.
Even I thought they should be a 4 strength piece.
Nope, only 4 strength piece on the board are the Ulf Warners. Necros can get a 4 strength piece. It's the Flesh Golems.
Yeah, but...
Typically...
No, go on.
Typically, Necros start with both their Flesh Golems. Dan has chosen an unconventional build in taking double Werewolf instead.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, typically you get double Flesh Golem on Necros and 1 Werewolf, and he's gone with double Werewolf instead. So it would be interesting to see when, if ever, he actually manages to pick up the Flesh Golems.
So, I mean, this is where I made a bit of a mistake, because I wanted to try and, like, get some pieces around the other side. So, instead I just basically buried the ball carrier against a line of their dudes.
Yeah, I think while I was watching it live, I was making the joke of Norse really want to hit people with the ball. I mean, I think right now in terms of situation, it's kind of it's actually an even playing field. Like the Norse are actually in a good position because they just want to hit things. They have the better advantage in terms of having the mass block. And the Necros do kind of want to bog you down with zombies, but the issue is Dan's having to commit players that he doesn't really want bogging down, like the ghouls, for example, and the werewolves.
Yeah.
You don't really want them hit. Because the ghouls are armor 7, and also they don't have regen.
Yeah, the ghouls are a very fragile piece. And you can see, especially in the second half, I'd make a point of trying to specifically put them out of play because they're dangerous pieces. They're very much like Skaven, I found.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like if they get a ball. This was a mistake here on my part because I didn't see that was a going for it. It was one of the classic, I'll blitz, I'll move in, didn't see it was a go for it, and then failed it. Because, you know, when you only need a 1 in 6 to fail, you're of course going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially me, I just can't do going for it. So you see some of the armor 7 on the Norse is starting to give way.
Yeah, this was one of the down points I did notice. I was ending up with a lot of stuns and put me in a very precarious position at this point.
Yeah. There's the advantage of block. Down the werewolf goes. It's just kind of like, I feel like this situation is actually still okay for the Norse. You're still a little bit tied up, but like I think at this point I was trying to work out, like, is it possible for you to clear everything off the ball to move it out?
I think you're just slightly ahead of myself in terms of the commentary.
Sorry, I'll pause it up. But it's
just push the white. But I think we're gonna get frenzy trapped now by the berserker in a second, because we're gonna push the second werewolf with our Ulfwerner.
Yep.
Getting a lucky down, pushing that werewolf back. Unfortunately, leaving my Ulfwerner tied up, which is unfortunate, but yeah, this is the point I start trying to aggressively take out the ghoul, because
that makes sense.
I know I'm like only halfway down the field in like the middle of my drive, and we're not making much headway. So I don't want the ghoul to have a chance to pick up the ball and run. Same with the werewolves.
Yes. Absolutely, that's the correct strategy.
Yeah, this is the problem where I get frenzy trapped here. I didn't really want to make that move, but the dodge chance was a bit rough, and so I quickly tried to move a free player into position to try and mark a few players, but unfortunately it still leaves like 2 zombies clear.
Yeah.
So of course the first thing Dan's going to do is blitz, and he of course gets it down with the 2 die.
He does, but that scatter is pretty good for you. Well,
it was an incredibly good scatter.
It's correct. It's reminded you have a runner. It's reminded you have a runner. It's like, hey, look, your runner should be holding it. No, tough luck.
Yeah, tough luck. Gets KO'd. Was a bit annoying. What are we going to do?
The main problem your team's running into now is it's just you're getting worn down. This is the weakness of the Norse at this point because of the armor 7, even if they're better at blocking. You're getting worn down, everyone's based, the team's surrounded. You don't really have, like, you're not a passing team.
No.
Like, you don't have the skills to pass. Although, funny enough, Norse used to have catchers. They don't anymore, but they used to.
So we can see Dan's moved his werewolf into position, so I immediately think he's going to try and go for a pass play to get the other werewolf free. So I go to stun the other secondary werewolf, and then my immediate thing is to try and free up some players to get access to the other werewolf.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you're playing a normal coach, you'd be like, passing on a Necro team, that's crazy. But you're playing against Dan, so...
So yeah, my only concern right now is to free the ball and possibly take out the werewolf.
Yeah, it's the smart play. Just get people on the ball, put tackle zones on it, make sure that that it's not an easy pickup.
There was a brief second there where I was going to consider Frenzy picking up the ball, but I noticed that the werewolf the wolfine only has 2 agility, and then this ball goes absolutely mentally in the wrong position, and I start to desperately worry.
Yeah, that is a rough scatter. It's a little when you don't have the reroll, it was a little ballsy to attempt to pick it up, I found. Or did you have a reroll there?
No, I did. I just chose not to use it.
Okay. It's just you have to think in positions like that where it's like you put a lot of effort in putting tackle zones on the ball. If you then fail to pick up the ball, it goes into it goes out of the area you've defended. Unfortunately,
yeah. But in terms of a scatter where there's like 4, I had a 50% chance of that going to a not bad area, and it just went absolutely crazy.
Yeah. That's like that is the absolute worst case scenario scatter for sure. Luckily, Dan tries to dodge with werewolves, which he keeps trying to do.
Absolutely, but he still luckily leaves me with a way in to the white with the ball.
Yeah,
so
he does. I was actually expecting you. I thought when I was watching this live, I thought this was a setup to foul the werewolf.
No. What this was me marking the werewolf with an extra piece so I could free up another piece to get in on the white.
Yeah, I realize that now, but like at the time I was like, you hit the white, you free the ball, and then you foul the werewolf. That's what I thought was going to happen, but you just went for the hitting and like marking the ball, which is fine.
My thought process was that I didn't really have the spare manpower to start fouling players.
It's true, it is a 1 in 6 of getting sent off.
Yeah. So, at this point, I still have a chance to score. I've got 2 turns of movement, and it's like I aggressively mark the ball and I try to get players free.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely still, in terms of scoring plays, you've got movement 6 on most of you guys and the runner's movement 7, so it's definitely still there. And in terms of tackle zones on the ball, you have the slight edge. You've got 3 to Dan's 2 currently.
No, not for long.
Yeah. But the good part is he physically can't clear every player from the ball.
No.
Unfortunate miss next game on the broken jaw there. But luckily it's only a lineman, not a...
Yeah, no, it's specifically why I didn't use an apothecary at that point.
No, that's smart.
Because a miss next is nothing. I can get a lineman next game to replace the hole, and it has the same stats. It's just going to be a loner.
Yeah. That's a frenzy trap right there. Straight 2 dice into 1 dice because the ghoul isn't marked.
I believe, yeah. Yeah, it's just happening now. But yeah, and I pay for it. But luckily I re-roll into a push.
Yeah, it's stuff like this that, like, as you keep playing with the frenzy pieces, you'll start to be able to identify it more and more because it's... Yeah. It's just literally because that ghoul isn't marked when you push forward, he suddenly adds in an assist that wasn't there originally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can see me be a little bit ballsy, trying to do some dodges here and trying to free up a couple of pieces. Especially with the runner. I then mentally trying to work out the movement that the runner has to make and didn't move anymore because it was GFIs. So I then switched to a very defensive game because I know I can't score.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the point where Dan's like, "Ha, you can't score," and like everyone in our chat was like, "What? Of course Pete can score." Like,
I could double go for it, but I don't think I could get the ball.
No, but I think it was like it was at this point where Dan was saying it was impossible for you to score, and in our chat we were like, no, it's very possible for Pete to score. He's got a scoring piece. Like it's the runner right there. We just thought that was a bit weird.
I mean, I don't think Dan realised it was a runner. So.
Oh, the swag pass.
Oh yeah, this is Dan just trying to get the ball out and just fluffing it.
I just want to point out, because we don't see percentages in thingy, it was a 50-50 dodge, a 50-50 pickup, a 50-50 pass, and then a 3+ catch, and he failed the 3+ catch.
Yeah. So I try to work out a lot of my movement in this, but I believe I get screwed by a skull, so I lose my...
Yeah, another frenzy trap.
Yeah, and that's where I use my reroll, get the push to get him off the ball. But...
Oh, you should have... Oh, interesting. I didn't realize you did that. What you could have done there is the Berserker could have jumped up blocked instead of just jumping up.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes with the jump ups. I just didn't realise it was the Berserker I was getting up, so it was just jump up straights a lot of the time.
Yeah. Because it's very useful, because that's the real power of the Berserkers, because they have jump up. If they get knocked over and they're not stunned, they can essentially give you a second blitz. At least in terms of hitting from the ground.
Yeah. But it's at this point that I try to get the ball, because I was going to try and get the ball to... It was like a 17-17 just to get to the ball and pick it up. But it was like, So we end the ball on that. I end it on that drive, because the idea was to try and dodge in, grab the ball, throw the ball, and then dodge and run. Really low percentage chances, but, you know...
It was your only shot.
Yeah. And hey, I did it against you before, so why the hell not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. The plus side is Dan has no pieces in scoring range, so you don't have to worry about him returning the favour. So this drive is going to end 0-0. Dan keeps trying to do passing plays with Necro.
He's trying to get he's trying to get the free SPP, which I can understand on the last drive of a half. But
no, yeah, it totally makes sense. It's just kind of funny because it's just like the Necros are just not a passing team, and but of course you want the free SPP because they do have some edgy 3 players, so it's not it's not impossible.
So my KO'd guy wakes up. Unfortunately, Dan's does as well, and with the regen as well from previous injury, it means that I'm a 1 player down going into the half.
Yep.
So I play a very defensive wall, and leaving not much, leaving the front line very thinly veiled, but giving me the opportunity to back off if I need to, if he manages to get past.
So yeah, I actually like this setup. I liked it when you did it. I just have one criticism with it.
Yeah.
The 2 outermost pieces, even though they're strength 4, the old foreigners are actually very surfable, especially because Dan has frenzy pieces.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, and like,
he only managed to surf 1 piece though. Like,
he did only manage to surf 1, but that's because like he didn't think it through properly.
To be fair, in the live game, he did say he was going to commit to. I think he was going to actually aggressively commit to a surf, but never actually did. Now, the ball actually lands where I go to kick it, but it's just that on both drives now he gets very good defensive bonuses.
Quickstep's not that. Like Quickstep's okay. Like the Quickstep was pretty good because it lets him get his wolf 1 square forward, which is pretty useful.
Quickstep's still good because it allows him to ignore tackle zones when he moves the pieces.
It's true, but it only applied to like 1 of them, which is the werewolf.
Yeah, well, and the 2 whites that moved as well.
Yeah. If that had been a push, that would have been a surf dolphin winner. But yeah. See, this is also where I was really, really confused. Because I know I spoke to Dan afterwards, and he said repeatedly that he was not going for a passing play, but I don't see what this is if it's not a passing play. You know, with the werewolf running deep.
Yes, it's immediately what I thought he was going to do. The minute he moved his wolf down the back there, in fact, I believe I state, "Are you going to do what I think you're going to do?" And I think he was actually going to try and pass wolf to wolf.
I think he was. Like he's said repeatedly he wasn't. But what is this if it's not a pass, right? Like,
I think Dan is trying to aggressively get SPP on his wolves. in order
That's
to make...
fine. That's smart play to play because the Wolves are very good players, and
Yeah, but he
obviously
should be doing handoffs to them, like using the
yes,
ghouls to get the
yes.
ball and then just handing off with the ghouls instead of just trying to pick up the Wolves. 'Cause he should at least use the Wolves as blitz pieces, blitz with a piece and then run past.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I think Dan kind of undervalues his ghouls a lot. He shit talked his ghouls a few times in the game, if I remember correctly.
They are ugly, but here's me taking out the wolf, knowing it's a dangerous piece.
Yeah, it's the smart thing to do. You reacted correctly to this kind of pressure. Like, the reason this kind of pressure is a normal tactic for like faster teams is because they do it in multiple fronts. They present multiple scoring threats because you can only respond to one of them properly. This is what happens if you only have one scoring threat. It just gets knocked down.
Yeah.
And you've still got like a fairly decent line held here.
Yeah, I'm trying not to specifically push on one side.
Yeah.
I've left two pieces at the back just in case he gets something else through, which was the main reason for leaving the Berserker at the back to begin with anyway. Yeah. Now, Dan here in the actual live game goes, oh, you stayed? Because I've obviously left his piece 3, but I've left mine 3 as well in case he wants to try and... You know, he has to blitz if he wants to get in. And that's me failing a dodge right there. But, yeah, Dan's surprised that I've, like, only pushed his pieces back, but I've specifically done it to free my pieces up, so he has to blitz to engage.
Makes a lot of sense. Because you're essentially semi-elf screening this, which is smart, because you're armor 7. Like, when Norse are on the defense, they actually do want to kind of elf screen, because they're better at it. They are armor 7 still. So, even though they have block, they still kind of don't want to get hit, and so they can't do the bashy team tactic of just basing everyone, because they'll probably get injured.
Absolutely. I didn't understand that. Well, I do, because he wants to get a specific piece on the piece he's just pushed, and he's still trying to aggressively mark my players.
That's fair. That's Necro, though. You aggressively mark as Necro because you have fodder pieces. Like, his zombies, like, for example, on the left side of the pitch here, where he's got a zombie tying up an Oath Winner, that's a fantastic trade for Dan's team.
Yeah.
Like, and again, now he's doing the same on the right flank as well, a zombie with an Oath Winner. Like, these trades are really bad for you and really good for him. But his ball is still in a very vulnerable situation.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't covered it.
No, he's left me free to get in with pieces and actually, like, get to die.
Yep. I remember we were working it out. It's like we were pretty sure you could hit the wall with a 2-die, but we weren't quite sure how.
Oh yeah, I worked it out. I believe. No, I think I messed
That's
up.
a 1-die.
Yeah, no, I'd have to get on the other side.
We worked it out. I think the way we worked it out was you had to knock over the back wraith.
Yeah.
First, because then it removes a marking threat.
Which is what I think, which was the first move I tried to do, but only ended up with a push.
Yeah.
But it got me some marking pieces on the wolf. Unfortunately, it left the other wolf free, and it fell over. Which is, then he rolls to get it back up, and then this is the point I ask him: Are you trying to do what I think you were going to do?
Yeah.
At which point he tries to dodge out with the other wolf and drops the ball.
Yep. The dodge surprised me. I mean, I guess he doesn't have many pieces free right now, so it would be tricky to try and block the wolf out. But yeah, that's...
But yeah, this is the comeback trail now where I should manage to get the ball, I believe. Because it's just about freeing up some pieces.
We have a free lineman right there, right? You could just go and mark or try and pick it up. Yeah. You've got 2 guys in the middle who can run around. Similarly, like, it's kind of interesting because this left flank where Dan has a really good trade in terms of a zombie tying up an Oath Winner, he's also got the really bad trade of a runner being tying up a ghoul and a zombie.
Yeah. So my brain thought here was to try and get him as far my lineman as far away with the ball as possible, but I couldn't get a guy to cover the bottom cage. So what I ended up doing was just marking the wolf. And then trying to get a couple of pieces just as far down there as possible to try and play back up and try and, like, get in the way. But I failed the dodge to get around, so...
Yeah. I mean, you're in a decent position here. Like, the vast majority of Dan's team is lying down, and Necros aren't particularly fast anyway. Like, they have very specific fast pieces, the ghouls and the wolves.
Yeah.
And even most of those are lying down, and one of them Dan has taken out of the action himself. Like, because he's gone for this aggressive wolf down for whatever reason. Like, even if that wolf runs full sprint down, he can only just make it back to halfway down the pitch. So it's kind of like a piece that's out of action on it, like, already, even though it's technically not on the floor.
I think what Dan should have done was, instead of trying to do the pass and play with the wolf, is try to, keep the wolf in play and at least try and do a handoff and run down instead of just trying to aggressively push continuously.
Yeah, I think so. He does a good job of clearing the ball here, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Needed a dodge, but he did it.
Well, he got the ball free. Fortunately, that's a good scatter for me, because he's got no pieces in order to get to the ball to actually make a tackle zone on it.
Absolutely, because this is still the weakness of the Necro team. Like, these zombies in the middle are really fucking slow.
So, I get to the point of clearing this zombie with the intent to just get a couple of pieces round, because all I have to do is clear the wolf, and then I can start moving.
Yeah.
So after I get this down, I then start aggressively working out the pathing of what I need to do to get away from these zombies. So unfortunately, I fail picking up the ball once. Reroll works slow. And then I work out that if I go here, it's just about far enough for the zombies to not reach me outside of it. But then I use a free lineman to cover the Wraith so he can't just directly run.
Yeah. The zombies are only movement 4, which means they need to make it going for it to try and even get there.
Yeah.
I think one of them can actually blitz you, but it needs
one
to
could,
going for it.
But it was going for it, yeah. And again, I failed another dodge. Just trying to make some extra space, but
yeah, this zombie. This was another, like, when we were watching anything, we were really confused because we assumed this would be the zombie you blitz with, and Dan just bases instead.
Yeah, and then
we thought we'd mark with this one and then blitz with the other one, because that's a 2 dice, right?
Yeah, so he tries to re-roll this, and I believe he just goes down back on his ass on the second go for it. So at this point, it just leaves me to just, I believe all I do, because he left the wolf on the floor before picking it up, is just to base the Wraith.
Yeah. If this zombie over here had just moved up to base the Ulfweiner, you wouldn't like. Because your clear path here is just blitz with the Ulfweiner to remove that zombie and then run over.
Yeah.
If Dan had moved the zombie over, it would have based the Ulfweiner, and this would be less possible. Which is I think one thing people need to learn a lot about Blood Bowl. Like, the 2 zombie things was the most important thing, because you want to try and knock the ball carrier over, but you need to set up contingencies on that. Like, if this fails, what's going to happen? And it's why you should do stuff like just working at what needs to be based and then basing it before you do anything to do with dice.
Unfortunately, a lot of that time you lose with only a 2-minute thing. You still need to think relatively quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
So at this point, I turn around and I'm like, I bet Josh is going to be shouting in chat and saying you should have just drawn the game out. And agreeably, I should have drawn it out at least 1, maybe 2 more turns.
I wasn't shouting. I was surprised you didn't stall, but I was like, also, it's fine, probably.
Well, I wanted to make a game out of it, at least.
Yeah, that's fair. And you're 1-0 up, 3 turns left. Necros can score in 3 turns just because...
Yeah, I realise I often forget how fast the wolves and the ghouls are.
Yeah, wolves are moving 8, ghouls are moving 7. It's kind of scary.
We essentially use the same setup for the same team, considering I'm still 1 man down. And once again, Dan gets the high kick, and I believe he uses the wolf to grab the ball.
Yeah, of course he does. He actually gets the catch as well, which is very lucky.
It's 50%. So
it is 50%, but it's like, it's one of those things where you kind of want your opponent to fuck the catch up, because then at least they have to attempt to pick the ball up. We were also surprised at this when he ran the wolf over. We expected a handoff to this other wolf and then just run through.
I didn't think he was going to do that, actually, but that would make a lot of sense in hindsight.
Yeah, we were just like, we thought what would happen is like you start off by blocking down that lineman, and then the wolf runs over, hands off to the other wolf, and then you blitz through.
Blitzes through, yeah. And then, I mean, thankfully I'd still have my berserker at the back, and I can't add a free lineman if he had done that, and I think I'd still be able to get to the wolf. But I mean, it would make for a good desperation play.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's not necessarily like maybe not the correct play. It's just what we kind of expected based on the way the wolf ran up next to the other wolf, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he was just trying to like do a forcibly cage, and then he had a bit of luck with some pals. Specifically going to injure my SPP dude, and I was just like, "Oh, you meanie, you mean bastard."
Yep.
So here's me, and unfortunately, I do use a lot of pressure on one side.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you go very heavy on this left side, and it's kind of worrying because this, like, all he needs to do is remove Whet My Appetite, and he's through. But you run Wet back.
Yeah,
knock those down.
I run the free lineman all the way back, just in case, because I mean it still opens up more of a line, and I realise that. But I realise that if I can keep the ghoul down, then the only piece I need to worry about is the wolf.
There's the surf on the off-liner.
Yeah, you're slightly ahead of me, but it was to be expected because I know sometimes it's worth realising that if you force the surf, sometimes you'll force a player to take it. Like
it's absolutely true. I think in this case, the going for the surf was actually the mistake because if he just runs the wolf with some backup through, like there's not a lot you can do because you're so heavily on this. For some reason, your forces have sort of congealed on this left side, and he's a lot faster than you.
Absolutely.
In terms of the wolves,
the thing is that he's left his wolf in the open, knowing full well I've got a lineman, and knowing that I've got the berserker, and knowing full well how I've been dodging. I believe in the live game you'll see me doing a lot of pathing at this point, and it's to work out if I can get a lineman piece all the way from the left to run all the way over to act as a secondary on the wolf, and it worked out that I'd have to do 2 going for it to do that, and I was just like, so I either have to do 2 2+s or I have to do 1 4+. So I took my chance on the 50% rather than the 2 81s, because we all know how well trying to get 5 out of 6 chances to work goes down for us in GFIs.
It's true, especially if I'm doing the GFIs.
So I specifically was trying to work out how it was going. I was going to hopefully get a push to push him against the wall, but he dropped the ball and it ended up in my hand, so I just went a couple going for it to just put it in a safer position, because the only way he'd be able to get around is to push the ghoul all the way round.
Yeah, it's true. There was a smart place to put him, especially with the wolf being stunned. It's just kind of actually a smart place to defend the ball, especially since you're not going to score. You don't have the you'd need to have put someone in scoring range that turn to be able to score.
So Dan's realised he can't score here, so he decides to stop pushing my dude. It's a shame because his ghoul in the middle was only like 1 square away from trying to double go for it.
Yeah, we counted it.
So I just go for a passing play to end the game, and we ended it with gentleman's agreement.
So what are your closing thoughts on
So all in all, it was a semi-bloody game with like some semi-decent SPP. I mean, as we can see there, he gets his MVP on a white. I get my SPP on a wolfman.
Yeah, you both get pretty good.
So it's a good SPP spread. I mean, I've got
it's like 11-9 or something, I think.
11-9. So it's not that much difference. I think Dan played a good game, with the exception of forcing the surf, trying to play for the pass play. So it was a good game. You got any closing thoughts?
It was fun to see the new teams in the season. Definitely a good starting match to get people back into the swing of things. I'm excited to see how the rest of the league heats up. We've got some really interesting games happening this week
Yes.
with with some brand new players and some old veterans as well. So I think the games are going to get very. I think interesting is the correct word.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
It's a good start to the season, and we've got quite a few games to come. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Until the next game, we will see you next time.